This is Jordu Schell, and I'm here at Distortions Unlimited once again. And I'm going to just talk to you guys a little bit about my thought process behind making the resurrection masks, 4 of which are here. I've done probably at least 15 to 20 of these remakes now. And each time I sit down and do them, it's a very exciting thing for me because I grew up loving these masks, and the opportunity to redo them is something that I find really challenging, and it sort of takes me back to being a kid again, which of course is what we're all after, isn't it? So my general design ethic overall is to make the outlandish seem as real as possible. So in sculpting these, I'm tasked with trying to make masks that are really quite stylized, very, very real, as if they're in the Star Wars cantina scene or in a film, you know. So one of the things that Ed really stressed in a lot of his early mask designs were angles and the sharp angles of bone structure and a kind of stylized bone structure, which it really appealed to me as a kid. So softening those edges to some extent is one of the things I've done. Creme is a good example of that. These lines here were very, very stylized in the original, very bold structure. So I wanted to keep that same structure while at the same time kind of softening them a bit to make it look a little more organic. There are fine wrinkles and details that aren't to be found in the original, but generally speaking, the whole idea behind all the ones that I've done is to give kind of a double take impression, like, oh, that's that's creme, but even more real, you know. And in the particular case of creme, considerably larger than the original. The original of creme was a teeny, actually really small little mask, which fit me very, very snugly as a 14-year-old when I was just a skinny kid. Now I don't think that I could get into any mask, but I wanted to make it much bigger, you know, accounting for shrinkage and all that sort of thing. We have an original creme right here to show you some of the differences and how I went about designing this. So as you can see, there are a lot of very stylized aspects to this. You know, the bone structure, the angles that Ed likes. And it was my task to then take this and kind of soften it into a somewhat more realistic version. I've always felt that the ears were maybe just a little too far forward, so I put them back considerably. But even the back of the mask, let me take this off of here. Even the back, sorry there, Nightmare. Even the back reflects some of the same kind of design elements. You can see that it's, you know, hugely bigger, you know. Like I said, the original is a teeny weeny little thing, which could barely fit on my head as a kid, and now it's very, very, very small to me. So, but you can see how you can see the stylistic sameness and yet the differences in the two. With Rotted Corpse, Rotted Corpse 1, which debuted in, I guess, 81, it's had several iterations. I'm a huge fan of the original because I think it looks it's realistic in a kind of disturbing way. So one of the things that I was thinking of doing or trying to do with this mask was to combine elements of both the original and the later iterations of Rotted Corpse that Ed created. In particular, Rotted Corpse 2, which had a full bib with ribs and everything. So I did the face to be somewhat similar to the original Rotted Corpse, but then of course I added a bib and some chest and all that sort of thing. Astronaut, which is probably the most popular mask that we've done in the Resurrection series. It sold out in a few hours. It's incredible. But one of my goals here was to make it more I don't know, more complete in a way by having there be, you know, a shattered faceplate, which you can see represented here in bits of plastic we attach to the inside of the mask, and also a torn air hose attached to the back to give the mask just a little more of a complete feel. And I also added just a great deal of depth on the sides and inside to just make it seem more real, you know. And of course, Nightmare, which is probably Distortions Unlimited's most iconic mask. This was a real challenge because the original Nightmares are great just as they are, but I was tasked with just sort of creating a completely realistic version of that. So, you know, I made the hands have a lot of structural anatomy and believability, and you know, of course, the skin is painted very realistically, and unlike the original Nightmare, this has eyes actually put into it. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to get the slumping skin and the little wrinkles in the hands and everything to be as real as it could be. This one's a little distorted. There's the local Greeley train, which goes by every time I film anything here. When we were shooting Making Monsters, and I would be, you know, trying to get out a very, very important point about my life, that stupid horn would sound and ruin the take. But doesn't matter now, does it? So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight into what my thought process was behind creating these masks. I hope it was at all interesting to you. If not, well, change the channel and watch the Kardashians. I don't know what to tell you. Anyhow, I'm going to be continuing the series. We've got an exciting new one coming up for September 2019 that Ed and I have discussed, and I think it's going to be really, really something. So, this is Jordu Schell signing off from Distortions Unlimited. Have a good day and keep loving monsters.